All right, so last time I kind of got cut off as I was talking about Dionysus, but the only thing I really need to add to that is the fact that he is very widely respected, even though he mostly causes trouble, is what a trickster has to be. Remember, they're a troublemaker who is in a sacred context, okay? And Dionysus definitely hits that. So does this other guy, okay? So there's some pictures of Dionysus in case you were wondering. That's the crown that he gives to his wife. So Eros, or Cupid, is the mischievous god of romantic love. Okay, most of us kind of know a little bit about Cupid. We picture the little Valentine's Day baby in a diaper with an arrow, and that's actually pretty accurate. Okay, for at least most of his life. Okay, and so with Cupid, the way that he is a trickster is that he causes people to fall in love, typically who don't want to fall in love. Like he might see, Jim and Jill and they hate each other. And so he realizes, nothing would be funnier in the world than to shoot Jim with this arrow, make him fall in love with Jill, and then just leave Jill alone. Okay, so now Jill has Jim, who she can't stand, chasing after her all the time, singing some love songs to her, serenading her outside of her house at night. So he basically becomes like this stalker that she never wanted and she can't get rid of. Okay, that's why he's a trickster. Okay, now with Cupid, there's a story, and one of you guys might actually tell this in one of your presentations called Cupid and Psyche, and it's a story about when he gets married. I want to make sure I clarify this. In that story, Cupid is not a baby anymore. Okay, he actually does grow up, and so like a lot of weird things happen in mythology. Marrying babies is not one of them. Okay, now with that story of Psyche, the way he becomes an adult is actually the Roman version where Cupid grows up. Okay, in that story, Aphrodite is his mom, so Venus is his mom, and she goes to the Oracle of Delphi, so Apollo, and says, "Hey, what's the deal? Like everybody else's kids are like full-grown adults all the time, but my baby has been a baby for all of eternity. Like, how do we change this?" And the Oracle tells her, all you have to do is have a baby who is the opposite of him. And if you have an opposite child, they will both grow into men at the same time. So she goes home, takes care of that, pops out a baby. That baby's name is Anteros. Okay, so if you ever forget it, so it's like anti-Eros, so anti-Cupid, but anti-Eros, so Anteros. And the way they sort of interact is Cupid is the mischievous god of love. Okay, and so he shoots people who do not want to be in love, causes one of them to fall in love, and that's how he causes the mischief, right? Anteros is the avenger of unrequited love, which means, let's say we go back to our Jim and Jill story. Cupid shoots Jim, makes him fall in love with Jill. Anteros comes along, and if Jill refuses to return those affections, he chops off her head. Okay, so it's like kind of intense, but that's the way it is. So as soon as Anteros is born, he's the opposite of Cupid. They both become men, and it's in that context that he marries Psyche, who becomes the goddess of the human soul. Okay, she's actually like symbolized by the butterfly, and that's a big deal. Okay, because remember, the human soul or humanity is what the Greeks viewed as the standard of perfection. Okay, and so the reason in that story she is more worshipped than Aphrodite or than Venus isn't because she's like physically more attractive, but she is more attractive in the sense that she is more perfect because she is perfectly human. Okay, so that's like a big deal. So again, he's a trickster because he is a mischief causer, but he's also in that sacred context because not only is he an Olympian, but in some of those early stories, remember, he's one of the earliest gods. So he's a very significant god to the mythology as well. Okay, this would be a good point again to stop and review. We have on your assignment sheet that link to the Kahoot, or you can go to kahoot.it and look up Upchurchian, and you can find all of my Kahoots there. Next time I'm going to try and run you through a bunch of minor gods, probably like 2 videos left in this. I don't know, maybe more. Maybe I'm like overestimating my abilities to go fast. And we'll be done with the first section of this thing, and then we'll get into hero stories next. So hopefully you're understanding these stories. If you have any questions, please reach out. Have a great day, guys. Make wise decisions. And as always, Merry Christmas.